We're finally ready to go. It's another best of 5 here. BioIce versus Creature. Sloth versus Sidestream Gaming on 16 bits.
The ZVP. My favorite. Is he a falcon or a paladin? Make up your mind. Wow. I don't think I have to do that. Pretty sure, anyway.
Don't let your dreams be dreams, okay? You can be both if you really want to be.
Yeah.
I'll do the first introduction, I guess. In the top right, as the pink Zerg, it is BioIce.
And spawning in the bottom left, it is the red Protoss player Creature.
Yes, so we saw a lot of TVPs from these guys, actually both of them. BioIce looked very strong versus Ninja. I did attribute Creature to having some crisper looking, cleaner looking macro games. So I feel like it's not going to be the same issue of BioIce just kind of out macros his opponents in this specific series, though I could be wrong. And for Creature, I think he got to witness BioIce play, so he knows that it's so far been quite standard, even though BioIce does have some aggressive tactics in his toolbox for sure. He hasn't thrown them out yet. Maybe he was saving it for the finals. Maybe he's changed. He's just going to do macro. I'm not sure. But Creature would probably know how this guy plays.
Agreed. It's always nice playing against somebody you're not quite sure what is going to happen here, but that's why you scout. So scouting on in does see that the pool is not even quite done yet, so no crazy proxy stuff, no crazy 12 pool level things, which you can't really get away with if it gets scouted, and you have to assume the Protoss is in fact going to scout. Expansion is getting started back home for Creature 2. Going to try to possibly block this. Nah, decides just to let it go. Oh no, changed his mind. Came back in for the block just for 2 seconds. And then the drone. Yeah, drone, why are you chasing the guy? No, just go back and make your hatch. Become a building. It's what your destiny is.
Yeah. Complete your destiny. I guess Creature was thinking maybe it wouldn't be such a fast third, but figured it'd be worthwhile blocking. Ultimately is happy with that as he is able to scout. Well, I guess the intention to take it there, he didn't technically scout it being put down, but that'd be quite the trickster to fake that.
That'd be an amazing mind game. Just not even throw the third down at all. Go for some crazy 2-base attack. That Creature's not ready for, but not today.
Nope. She's the BTS song. Don't know if you're a fan of K-pop. That probably went over a lot of people's heads, so never mind. Just forget.
I was gonna, sadly, no.
Dang. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. Anyways, the Adept, it's all the standard. I feel like Creature will definitely throw out another 2-base all-in or 3-base low probe count attack, like he did last series. I mean, the last game was off of a low probe count. It was a little more dedicated. Certainly worth, not exactly worth calling it all in, but it was. If it failed, it would have been difficult to come out of. And then he had the charge all in, which did fail, and it definitely hurt him. So in a best of 5, you have to mix things up. But for now, 16-bit, one of the macro maps that we were given, the obvious macro map. A lot of these maps ended up being quite large, but this one has the in-base natural. I think they're, it seems like they're both going to be playing into the macro game. And I really am curious how well Creature's going to use his Archon drop compared to Ninja against BioIce, who seems to really have his defense on lockdown.
Agreed. So definitely going to have to see how the macro styles for both players end up working out here. Adept coming back home. Overlord getting picked off there inside the main base too, and Oracle production has begun for the red Protoss player.
Nothing fancy to talk about so far.
No, not really. Phoenix scouting around for more Overlords to kill. I'd really like to see more players do this, whether Terran or Protoss. Just send a Viking out, send a Phoenix out. Most Zergs are scouting with Overlords these days, and if you can pick them off, that denies scouting and also could potentially supply block your Zerg opponent too. So it's really kind of low risk as well. So I might as well do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, BioIce absolutely no Overlords on this side of the map is like a little weird, but there's a lot of assumptions probably going into this about the map, about the player, about the best of the Creature just played. Didn't show a lot of tricky builds, but it is tricky builds. And unfortunately, like having an Overlord near here wouldn't have helped. It would have died to the first Phoenix, but he would have loved to have seen that it's in fact a double Stargate, which is apparently making a little bit of a comeback in this matchup. We got Mass Phoenix, and once upon a time we had Mass Oracle, and on maps like this, where you have the in-base natural and a still fairly safe third, You even have those players that go like right into Sky Toss, but that's more rare than the other option, Phoenix into later Charge Archon.
It is, but boy, is it powerful if you can get there. If you can get there before your opponent figures out what's going on, it gets real scary for the Protoss opponent real fast. But so far, just double pumping those Phoenix, getting +1 air weapons here too does make me feel like we're going to see some Sky Toss attempted play out of Creature. The question is, can BioIce recognize it, react accordingly, possibly try to kill Creature before he gets the big number of Sky units that can possibly destroy him? Or, well, 18 Lings are on the way. I guess we might know the answer to that.
Now sometimes Protoss get +1 and then that's it for the air, and they do go into a more typical macro game, but sometimes it is a sign of dedication, so I'm gonna hold off until I see a Twilight count. I mean, he's adding more gateways, which maybe 3 is a limited amount, and that's all he wants, and it's into a fleet beacon, or maybe it is the transfer over. But regardless of what the next step is for Creature, the first step is bulking up these Phoenix and having a surprise attack on what, again, if he was paying attention to the best of 5 that BioWays played not just an hour ago, is a person who depends a lot on Queen defense. Not really someone who goes quick into Hydras, and even that's a little risky against Mass Phoenix play. Someone who has these Queens out in the map looking for the Archons, and spreads a lot of creep too, so they don't have a lot of transfuse. But the Lings are the first to see that it's Phoenix, and Lings actually aren't that scared of Phoenix. There's so many of them, they can't all be lifted.
No, they sure can. It's a waste of energy to lift Lings for sure. Might try it anyway, though. Try clearing this thing out, at least using some of that Graviton Beam energy to save the 3rd base alive. 3 spores immediately going down back home for BioIce. So nice job those Lings kind of accidentally scouting what was coming his way and going for a Spire, possibly for some Corruptor play out of the pink Zerg player too. So pretty good responses thus far.
I don't know if I like the Spire response. And by the way, it's in the Twilight Council Forge. So, I mean, he's going to have to go into Muta Corruptor, basically. If you only go Corruptor, it's not really that useful. So much damage can be done by the Phoenix.
They are Queen stabbing away as fast as they can. Spore Crawlers doing the damage too, but that is a lot of dead workers. 12 workers killed there during that attack. Not many of the Phoenix went down. So far, so good from Creature.
Right, so he saw the Spire too. So continuing to talk about that, it's actually really good that BioWays had double Spore Crawler, else he wouldn't have traded it at all. But the Spire, so he's going to have to go into Corruptor Muta, because just Corruptor doesn't really work out against Protoss like it does versus like Terran. And even now it doesn't work out anymore, right? No one does Roach Corruptor anymore against Terran, because past the Phoenix, there's nothing much to kill. But if you go Muta and Corruptor, then you have the Mutas protected by the Corruptors. You can run around, you can do damage. It's something that works. Well, yeah, I guess Caustic Spray, right? Oh, this is just so much of a surprise. Creature actually has to use to deal with this, but he's not paying attention.
Big time Baneling hits, but I don't think there's enough Lings here to do anything after that. It was a decent hit by BioIce, but could have been a lot scarier.
Yeah. Now, if it's just Corruptors to take out the Phoenix, or, excuse me, he's under the guise that it might be full Sky Toss and wants to, you know, kill the carriers, the Tempest, whatever it would be coming out before it gets too late.
Fleet Beacon, yeah.
I could see that. But he's also trying to get the continued Ling upgrades. He's going for an Infestation Pit, looking for that Hive probably. I still am worried about this response, as I feel like it doesn't give much in the terms of counterplay. Like, the lane Baneling bus is all he had, really. And this is a map where you can easily get a 4th base as well as your first 3. Okay.
Yeah. Phoenix almost getting backed into a corner there, picking off Overlord, taking some spore shots in the time. And Zergling showing up at the perfect time to knock down this 4th base. Wow. Everything gets canceled. Probe gets killed. Pylon ends up getting destroyed there too. Ling aggression, just being in the right place at the right time can make a big difference for players like BioIce. Oh, and making some Banelings too, planning on some further aggression here. I like it a lot.
Well, Creature should have a couple of Archons here. He's kind of like doing 2 things at once, which I feel like maybe he shouldn't. Especially after seeing that it was a Spire. But he wanted to get to Anti and Pulse Crystals, and he really wants to take care of the Corruptors, but even though he's going for like both tech avenues, he actually has a lot of cash. A lot of money here. He just hasn't used it yet. So an issue of production, I suppose, is he should have a lot more Archons. The sentries are only just now being warped in for continued force fields.
And the force field doing very well here. Almost went through that tiny hole. Could have got a bunch of zealots with it, but decided to pull back instead. And trading pretty well with these Phoenix. Allowing sentries particularly, though, not what you want to see. If you're the Archons, getting drawn into this location and actually getting picked off here quite nicely. Additional Corruptors are in production for BioIce, but he can't just throw these ones away. He's got to take some Phoenix with him, as he is starting to do here.
I'm really surprised that Creature decided to go more into Phoenix. I feel like seeing its Corruptors is a perfect opportunity to just dedicate to Zealot Archon.
Oh, no! Sentries run! Oh my gosh, all of the sentries die except for one. Probes getting out of there too, running directly into these Zerglings up top there. More Zerglings rolling on in. It's not exactly overwhelming here from BioIce, but taking care of all those sentries really leaves us open to further pressure along down the road. I think Creature should be able to clean this thing up, but he is definitely failings exploding all over the place. A lot of probes going down, and the caustic spray, yes, called it out. The Nexus is going to fall here, no saving it. That DPS gets so high eventually, and there it is.
They got fully ramped up, and by that time it's so difficult to hold. Just so distracted. Creature, it really feels like a series of unfortunate events. Again, I'm gonna be a little critical and say that he should have had a bigger army. He's been banking every now and again. He's gonna tap out this game. And then he also responded to the Scout and the Spire and the Corruptors by continuing to make Phoenix, which I feel that isn't the right call. You say, okay, well, there's still 6 or 12 Phoenix, whatever it was, to run around. I'm gonna avoid your Corruptors, get a great ground army with Storm, and your Corruptors are gonna look kind of silly.
Yeah.
But he almost played into BioIce and made BioIce look like a genius, where I was actually initially critical of what BioIce is doing, so I look like a fool, but I swear, I feel like a lot of other players would have gone very different with this.
It made sense. Also, those banelings rolling into the sentries just should not have happened. Sentries had 18,000 force fields they could have tossed up there, tossed up 0. He wasn't paying attention. They all went down. The Lings were able to do whatever they wanted, and that was the beginning of the end right there. So, yeah, just watching on the delay here, coming in, and yeah, a force field went up, but not enough. Not enough. Could have held that off forever, indefinitely, with the number of sentries that were there, but instead, dead.
Yeah, he had to use them almost immediately as soon as they spawned those. So there might have been an issue of having just and not enough energy on some of them, but
yeah, maybe.
I would also say that just like Archons would have been better. It almost seemed like he didn't remember that he had in the Temple Archives already. It might have been he didn't remember. It might have been that he legitimately thought sentries would have been better, that he wouldn't have enough time to morph them to Archons because it was Baneling aggression constantly. There's like a couple of different reasons why he might have not done it, but I don't know, and especially because just yesterday, it's funny, I saw Ninja play against someone who went Loveling Banelings and had, and this is not meant to be like, BM or anything, there was really no finesse to it for either side, but one person had Archons, the other person had a ton of Banelings.
A move fiesta.
It was like the Archons won out, even though the numbers are quite large, so, okay, maybe Creature, a little out of his element. He did try and he initiated the weirdness of that game by going for double Stargates. So
he did, yeah, and then wasn't quite ready for how weird it got. It seems very true. Oh, that wasn't the right lobby at all. Let's try this one. Let's try this one here.
Now we have game art back on. Nice.
But yeah, if this whole series is going to be like this, I am excited. That was an exciting, fun game. Good back and forth there.
Yeah, agreed. I love lane-based play. I think it's the most fun unit in the game is a Zergling to me, which is really what makes life's fall from grace so sad, because he made the Ling kind of what it is nowadays.
Yes. True's kind of holding the torch. He's kind of trying to make it happen.
A little bit, but True obviously isn't as much of a potential Bonjour that could have been. So. No. But anyways, my point is I love the Zergling, so I do like when it becomes the highlight of the game, but it was a very odd game, so we'll see if they can do it again. In the top left, now down 1, it is the Red Protoss Creature.
And his opponent way down in the bottom right, so far away, it's going to be BioIce.
Yeah. I do so last time I really got to cast BioIce. I might have cast him in a couple WCSs or NA tournaments that I kind of forgot about, but he came to Hell to Put Time years and years ago and had some pretty brutal play to watch. Like either he was brutal to his opponents with some aggression, or he faced a couple of the Koreans that had come over and was, I guess, brutalized himself. So give and take, right? But he seems to be playing kind of just more into that macro, just really just pumping out as many Lings and Banelings as possible. And I know we focused a lot on Creature's side of the map because that's where the action was, but it was all backed up by BioIce getting up to a good number of bases and drones and hitting his larva injects with the mass amount of queens that he had. So, you know, anytime that he suddenly forgets to larva inject and that Ling pressure lets up for far too long, Creature's back into that game.
All right. Well, again, not much to report on the game here. No crazy proxies. Nothing too nuts here. Just a 1-gate expand out of the red Protoss player. Pool on the way from BioIce too. Catalyst has lent itself to some crazy macro games in the past that I've seen. I've seen a lot of ZVPs and a lot of ZBTs, but they kind of split it down the middle. Both players take their 7 bases, and then it just kind of turns into a game of attrition. You got the Broodlords. You start to see some of the Tempest there as well. Be interested to see exactly how far this game goes into the late game, but really it all depends on the mid and early here as well. Attempted to block that 3rd base expansion. Did that pro, but unfortunately not able to get there in time, and BioIce gets the 3rd down when he wants it to.
Yeah. At least it's scouted that it's there. Creature set up a weird game last time, but Catalyst is one of the... You see a lot of like decent macro games on here, some really fun games, and it doesn't really get a lot of credit, it feels, because it is such a basic map. It's kind of it's medium-sized. It's not anything... there's no gimmicks here. There's no interesting high ground, low ground, or maze mechanics like Eastwatch, something like that. Like, no, it's really straightforward. But, well, it doesn't get a lot of praise for it or a lot of love. It was put in the next map pool, so it got some love, I suppose. And it does give us some really solid games where I feel like almost everyone feels comfortable on this map, even if the ratios have skewed a little. I think it's actually like... Oh, no, actually, I don't remember. But it's like a bit worse for Terran or Protoss. I don't remember in that matchup, for instance. But it just... I feel like everyone's like, Catalyst, that's a solid map. That's where I'll do my solid macro build, and I'll perform the best that I can. Because something that I'll be surprised by, and if I am, it's on me. There's obvious attack paths here that I should be able to take care of.
Yeah, totally. And I never heard anybody rage against Catalyst and say they're going to veto that one. So maybe that's a reason why it made it into the next map pool, is everybody's pretty much okay with it at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah, Asset Plant was kind of a weird one to see included in. It was one of the lesser played maps of last season, so it almost felt like, I mean, compared to the new season, it's one of like more of a normal map, which is kind of funny. But they're like, that didn't get a lot of attention in the past 3 months. Let's just keep it in so it gets more attention. I don't really know what their thought process was for keeping that one.
Spent a lot of time on it, by golly. There's a lot of great doodads in there they want attention brought to.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. You'll play this map and you'll play it forever.
Right?
But we feel like it's gotten enough love.
Probably. Okay, this is the Archon drop then for Creature, and I brought this up in the beginning of the series, like, okay, I want to see how Creatures, maybe a bit more finer micro and macro backs up the attack compared to what Ninja was doing against BioIce and his style of play. Ooh, nice. I really like this. This is something that I noted in Ninja versus BioIce, and Creature gets to take advantage of it, but not at the cost of his Oracle. No. Okay, not worth.
Okay. 4 drones for an Oracle. Definitely not a good trade. Ouch. +1 melee attack coming up for BioIce here. Planning on being pretty aggressive with the Lings and the Banes, possibly. Have seen some Zerg players get up to that +2 melee attack so they can one-shot probes with Baneling drops. It's maybe a bit of a tell if that's where we're going, but another Oracle coming up in the follow-up here from Creature, working on the Zealot legs too, and the Templar Archives with the Warp Prism. So definitely could be seeing some Archon drops here. How does BioIce react to that? Likely just going to keep pumping those queens. He already has 4, and see if he can hold it off that way.
Well, 2 target fire while Lings preoccupy the Archons is a very good way to go. You gotta be... If you're gonna make a lot of Lings, like BioIce is making, oh boy, like 40 now?
Whoa!
30 to 40. That's overkill for the defense, but you do have a decent counter or simple run by if you believe in your positioning, which so far he's had very good positioning. And that's where the 3rd of the Protoss now is like up in the air, and BioIce is gonna go for the attack. He could even try and find the Archons being morphed, but actually his Ling sees the Zealot attack that really caught our last Zerg off guard. Seeing it is so important here, and he also tells him that he needs to make Banelings. It's more than just the Archons, so this is going to be a really good defense, I think.
Absolutely. Look at this. 14 banelings coming in right now with the lings, with the queens. These zealots aren't going to do a whole lot along the left side anyway, but there is a warp prism sneaking into the main base too, and there doesn't seem to be any defense here against this Archon. So yes, this gets cleaned up, but now the Archons have a bit of some time to make something happen inside the main base. That died real fast though, and things are quick. So here they come, just sacrificing themselves one or two at a time, trying to get rid of these Archons. Baneling's going to splash in amongst the zealots. Queen's trying to get some stuff done on the War Prism so that you can't get out of here with the Archons. One goes down, and it looks like Creature's going to retreat with the remaining Archons. So decent defense, did not lose any drones in the process, and pretty nice stuff from BioIce there.
Really nice, really nice. The only thing you'd really say is that maybe he overmade lings and banelings to do that, but in this case, I think that's a very fine thing to do. He absolutely crushed it. Now he has a counter on the third base that is only just finished and doesn't have any buildings to help out here, but a nice charge out warp in without any more banelings. They're a little bit slow. Nice micro here. He's not gonna be able to break it.
Yeah, that was. I hoped he was going to chase down those banelings with the Warp Prism and kill them with the Archons, but that might have been a little bit too much to ask here. Either way, the queens are out. They're spreading creep. They're scouting things, working on 6 high Templar additional Archon morphing. Indeed, it is. The merging is almost complete. And the additional gateways.
Okay, so Creature's gonna commit to this, which he might just be saying, okay, Ling Baneling. Eventually, I'm gonna get a good Archon connection. I'm gonna micro my zealots, and Ling Baneling is gonna look really, really silly, because it does eventually. But the counter just wrecks his economy, and he's gotta hope this does a lot of damage.
Are we just gonna trade bases here, third for third? I feel like Creature should be okay with that.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe the Zerg will be okay, because BioIce already has his fourth.
Oh yeah, that is coming up in the bottom left there. So Hatch goes down. Nexus is still alive. Creature is left with the Nexus back home.
Okay, that's...
BioIce is now in a little bit of a desperation defense mode here.
Yeah, now this is very good for Creature. Because he's going to be able to trade rather well, even with the surrounds here. And the Banelings connecting, there weren't a lot of them, so the Zealots still live. And it's going to cost him a lot of Lings, a lot of Larva. War Prism's trying to be targeted, but no, doesn't grab it. Loses his Queens to it, too.
Decent Baneling hits. Hydras want to finish off the Warp Prism now. And do shove it away. So that was 1 base for 0 bases. BioIce loses the Hatch, does not finish off Creature's 3rd base back home, which is huge, but did manage to not die. So that's also important.
That's a good point, yeah. I like that Creature was able to show how BioIce's style of play can be abused. You know, he looked like so solid against Ninja, but there really wasn't a committal of the Archons and the Zealots, and maybe there's also a bit of a lack of macro behind it, because BioIce is committing so much to these Lings that he never has a very good drone count. Even after killing 10 probes, it wasn't like the best economy lead, and then of course he lost his own 3rd, as his Hydras were quite pushed off and his own composition didn't really stand up to what Creature had. I like that we finally got to see what could happen, the flip side of, you know, BioIce's defense. But now we're into this interesting spot where BioIce, I would say, is a little behind. You know, only getting his 4th base against a well-saturated 3rd of a Protoss. But he has +2. You know, Baneling busts or roll buys can be very good, but oh, this wall is so cool. Oh, the stasis trap. Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, so the wall's up anyway, but I guess catching the Banelings is just icing on the cake right there.
Yeah. But that's kind of what BioIce needs to do here. Only needs to hope that the Banelings get good connections with the actual army, and that's something that Creature did not get. Storm, sorry, is what I'm talking about. He did not start researching that. In fact, I think that might be a mistake here, as he is once again banking quite a bit. Very out of the way.
You crash on the Archons, though. That's not good news. Enough Zealots are remaining to force these Hydras to run for their little Hydra lives here. Archons in the back. Yeah, standing and fighting, not exactly what you want to do. But sometimes that's what you are required to do. That said, running again, Zealots just hacking away on the back, and BioIce calls the GG. Okay. We're sitting at a 1-1.
That makes sense. Even without the storm, where I was like, yeah, you probably could have started that. It was easy peasy anyways. So,
yep.
Interesting game once again, though. The 3rd base goes down. I feel like Creature still has the stronger army, but suddenly his probe count isn't as worthwhile. And BioIce maybe has those faster Hydras, and maybe he holds a bit better too. Like, I'm glad that these guys are actually exchanging blows.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's much more fun than just a raffle stomp of there we go, of just a 3-0 style thing. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the games. I'm having a lot of fun casting them. Definitely good to see some non-standard stuff at this level of StarCraft for sure. You're on 9 hours right now? Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm doing a 12-hour stream right now, so. Yep.
I saw that when I showed up, and I was wondering how far along you were, but crikey. Okay. Is something you do pretty often, or just kind of a...
Oh, no, I hit 150 subs again, so.
Okay. So that was a sub reward then.
Yeah. I'm at 200. I think maybe my mom plays StarCraft again.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She pretty good?
Oh, no.
Oh. Do you coach her?
Yes. I make her play the campaign, and then I stand behind her and remind her how to box select and A move.
And which mouse click to use right here.
Which is really difficult to do verbally.
Uh-huh.
It's such muscle memory that I always get it wrong, and she gets mad at me.
You're like, right click here. I am right clicking.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
It is. People seem to really enjoy it. My mom can be kind of funny. She has like a lot of bloodlust, surprisingly.
Oh.
I'm like, Mom, you gotta go back and macro. And she's like, but I'm killing things.
I like watching the Zerg die.
Oh, exactly. She gets grossed out by the Zerg, and she doesn't understand the Protoss, so she's like always sneering at it when she has to play it. Yeah.
That sounds adorable.
It is. It's fun. It's fun.
Aww.
All right, game number 3, all tied up, going on to Acid Plants. In the top left, as the red Protoss, he is Creature.
And spawning in the bottom right, it's the pink Zerg player. Not Scarlet, but it is BioIce.
She just played pink a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Her Protoss is real good, too. Anyways, back on the acid plant. Now, I mentioned a lot of doodads on this map. There's just a lot of like flowing water and big old pipes gushing out things in places, and a lot of plants, and you can see the spray coming off the water too. I just feel like somebody spent a long time on this map, so to move it off the map pool too soon would be a bit of a travesty.
Yeah, I guess. There are prettier maps. Acid plant kind of in the name kind of denotes that it's not going to be a very pretty map. It's an acid plant.
That's fair. I mean,
Not
I guess
like...
it depends on your definition of pretty, though, I guess.
Well, I think most people think of like Belshire Beach.
Yeah.
Something that's really pretty.
The boardwalk. Boardwalk was a lot of fun, too. Battle on the boardwalk.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not many. Anything with a beach tile set, because you don't get it very often.
True enough.
Huge gaps of latter seasons where we just don't have any beach maps. And what was really cool is they had Belshire Beach and Belshire Winter, which I just thought was like the coolest idea, and they never did it again. I guess it was GSL's idea, which is the big difference, but
yeah,
they've never done it again. They've never taken a map that was really well liked, like Black Pink, for instance, and had it, you know, red blue, I guess would be the new name. It's obvious the colors are different, right, or something like that. They just haven't done it again.
Send that note up to Blizzard as well, along with our roller skating zealot.
Yeah, exactly. Next community summit.
Yeah.
It's on the docket.
People are talking in chat about how do you explain to someone how to stutter step?
I think just you say, like, follow my words as precisely as possible, and then you say A click, stop, A click, stop. I guess it depends on how you stutter step.
Yeah.
Some people use the hold, some people just A click. I A click.
Yeah, I think the A click is definitely better too.
It is. I think officially it is. I know someone asked on Twitter, and Kellizer basically was like, stop actually causes a delay sometimes, so.
Right. You don't want that. Delays are bad. So third base coming down for the BioIce. Again, no proxy stuff. That first game was real crazy for the proxies, and nobody's bothered to try it again, which I'm kind of sad about.
Well, no one's forged Cannon Rush, so.
True.
That's what started it, right?
The Protoss kind of have to start it. That said, I'd love to see BioIce just try to plant a hatchery directly in Creature's main and see what happens. It would make my Zerg heart happy. But that's okay. Standard is fine too.
You bring back some memories for sure. BioIce is all about the macro game, apparently. Lings do manage to sneak on by. So this can be risky play. The Adept is going to come out always to get the second scout. And you are risking either mistiming, there's a second Adept, for instance, and there is, or you're maybe sacrificing 2 drones if the Adept shades in. But he made 4 extra Lings anyways, so not going to do very much.
Yeah,
Could even be surrounded if it's not careful.
Easy shots, though, on the Adept. Gonna Sonic Transfer and I actually got to finish that transfer back into the main base where drones are going to come to fight. Bit of a drone stack happening there. Oh, didn't lose a single one. Did I see that correctly?
He lost one.
Lost one. Okay,
Yeah.
so one did go down there. Still pretty well held.
Yeah, but it's precisely one, right? So,
Yeah.
all right. We do have the Twilight Council pretty far out of the Robo, but they come in around the same time. Just make sure to pay attention to the gases. It should just be the Templar Archive follow-up. We saw him go for a charge all in once, but it didn't go very well. But BioIce has very notably not had Overlords on the map. So no scouting on the gases. The Phoenix is supposed to take care of that anyways. That Redshift game was entirely because the Phoenix failed at its job. And this might actually, because he's not adding the gases, so this actually is the charge. So the Robo comes down, it's a bit faster than it did on Redshift, but yeah, this is going to be that sneak attack.
But yeah, BioIce is in no position to scout this. Excellent pickup there. Got some lings out front that are kind of just trying to see what comes out the front door, but otherwise, he's not going to know what's coming for quite a while here. He is playing in the dark. Can he force the Adepts to come out? Nah, Adepts on hold position. Too smart for that one. Oh, kind of juke like she was going to move, but then decided, nope, not going to allow in the scouting and the damage potential. But either way, a Baneling Nest response here from the BioIce, getting the +1 melee attack and starting to make those wings.
So we saw a second gateway being built at the front, which might look like a bit of an odd timing because you do go up to 4 gateways. These were the last 2 of a total of 10? No, 9? Well, something around those lines. So maybe the timing of the gateways told him what was up. He also does scout. No, it actually didn't scout the 4th gas. So maybe it's just the gateway timing, but something has told him that he's going to have to expect a huge attack because he already has a lot of lings and a Banelings on the way. But the trick is Banelings isn't done and the attack is underway.
It is. Banelings, yeah, 12 Banelings coming up. The Zealots are already marching into the 3rd base location. Can he save it? I don't know. The Zealots are kind of bypassing the 3rd, though. They have bigger plans. They're going to walk right into these Banelings, though. I don't know about this creature. The Banelings are going to finish fighting right on top of the Banes. What was that? Everybody taking the splash, and BioIce holds it. Well, I guess that was happening.
So here's the difference of, we saw Roaches defend against this almost super easily. Sometimes against Baneling defense, you can just simply overpower. Like, it's the killbot maneuver, right? Where you just throw bodies at them, and sometimes the Zerg just doesn't make Banelings fast enough to replenish. But I don't feel like that's happening here, because there's still a lot of lings as well as Banelings being made here, so...
And the Queen DPS, don't discount that either. But yeah, just amazing Baneling connects. Oh, so many of these Zealots are down in the orange and the red help, which makes it so much easier for Queens and Lings to defend in the situation. Picks up and saves a couple of them with the War Prism, but yeah, that did not do the damage that it needed to do.
Creatures is going to go for it again.
Yeah.
He's hoping eventually the Banelings aren't, because there's a potential there's not enough gas to make enough Banelings when the Zealot count gets really, really absurdly high. But every single time, BioIce decided the right amount of Banelings and enough Lings to help take out whatever Zealots aren't killed immediately.
All right, gonna try that double prong thing again here, dropping a little bit inside the main, then sending more of the Baneling or the Zealots out here into the front door of the natural base. That get cleaned up. And then moving into the main base for the secondary cleanup here, too. There's just not enough Zealots to do anything. One gets inside the mineral line, but Queen alone can pretty much handle that. War Prism leaves these guys to die. And additional 7 Banelings and 22 Lings on the way.
There's also a trick of, the Queens are so busy trying to catch the War Prism or help out in the front line, maybe they start dropping on Larva. And it's happening occasionally here for BioIce, but he's doing a really nice job of keeping his minerals low. The War Prism's gonna go down with full of sentries, and that's just tap out time. GG.
BioIce, solid hold, leads to the win, gets him up 2-1 in this best of 5, 1 game away from winning it. But yeah, that was, as you said, just a combination of keeping the Larva up, keeping the Queen count going, the Banelings, just the right number of Banelings for the number of Zealots that were coming in, and then just Lings to clean up what's left over. It's not easy to do. BioIce kind of made it look easy, but man, as a Zerg player who's dealt with this on ladder at a lower level, obviously it wasn't against Creature, but it is very stressful to hold this thing, and BioIce did it extremely well.
And thinking more about how BioIce knew it was happening, because he has made a lot of Lings in the past just to have them and run around the 3rd base. That was a response amount of Lings and Baneling nest timing. So I'm thinking about how he knew. I do think the extra 2 gateways were like a little bit later than they would if they were the typical 4 to accompany the High Templars, but there's also no Oracle made, and that might have been the biggest tip-off. It was just a Phoenix, and you only use a Stargate for a Phoenix. Like, isn't that a little bit weird? So that's pretty cool. Just seeing how Zerg players have all these like really, really small details. As a Terran player, I just hope that I have bunkers in time or something. Like, I don't know.
But yeah,
cool.
a lot of things can set off alarm bells in the Zerg's head for sure, and I like that. I like the lack of oracles. Like, all right, something else is coming here. Let's be prepared for that.
Okay, so Creature is a 0% win record of that build. Maybe he doesn't try it again. He is on his last life now, as it is 2-1.
Yes, and so I'd be very shocked to see another Zealot charge lot attempt, but I don't know. Maybe he does catch BioIce off guard.
That'd be something different. We haven't really seen a wide variety of Protoss builds. We're talking like different timings of Charge on Archon, Charge All In, and then a Cannon Rush. Oh no, actually, we saw the 2 Stargates too. So I guess we've seen an okay variety. But there are also the Resident Enclaves into more of a macro game. There's the non-Stargate openers, which I'm not talking about a Cannon Rush. I'm talking about like just like right into the Archon drop or right into the Twilight Council. We even have the Dark Shrine coming back, like I've been talking about. And BioIce, I like that Creature probably noted BioIce didn't have Overlord Scouts, didn't end up working. Maybe he also notes that BioIce has some later layers and might be able to do something there, but only if he knows the build. So we'll see. Oh, I thought that probe was gonna go. Okay, we're good. Regular game. On the bottom left, as the red Protoss, it is Creature.
And in the top right, the pink Zerg player, again from Sloth Esports, it's going to be BioIce. BioIce, let's see. All right. So yeah, just one more game. One more to win here from the BioIce. Been doing pretty darn well so far, I would say. Got the spinning logo of the Sloth Esports. What is his decal on the hatch? I don't recognize that one.
It's isn't it like the Nerazim logo?
Oh yeah, that's the one that's on Darkness Sanctuary, right? Right in the middle of the map?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. It did look familiar. That's what it is.
It's also the outline of an Oracle.
Oh, yeah.
Trippy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird he's got a Protoss decal as a Zerg main, though. I'm not sure what that's all about.
Probably that it looks... It's like one of the defaults, so he probably was like, oh, I can have a decal? I guess this one looks cool.
Maybe he doesn't even know what it is. That'd be hilarious.
Maybe. Right? Yeah,
Maybe.
It's possible. There are a ton of StarCraft pro gamers that... There's just a couple of things that you would kind of think is natural along being with playing this game as much as they do. There's the idea that, everyone who plays a game for this much must be a nerd. They must be really into computers. They must play other video games. And a lot of pro gamers don't play any other video games. They know nothing about computers. There's some assumption that every person who plays StarCraft plays the campaign. So many pro gamers have never played the campaign, never touched co-op. So I would not be surprised if you just thought it looked cool and had no idea what it was.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, some people have no idea how to fix the computer when it goes down.
It's
absolutely true.
It's scary how I know Artosis is like 35 or whatever, but like I talked, and like 35 is not even that old, right? But like I talked to him, and sometimes him and Tasis, I think, like both just don't know a lot about computers. Like literally all they would ask is to have Brood War installed on a computer and for their mouse and keyboard to work, and they'd be like, okay, I don't need to know anything else. So it's like some, like they try and set up streams, and it's just like kind of have to walk them through it a little bit. It's funny. It's a good reminder.
Artosis streams quite a bit, and you have to be somewhat familiar with how things work to set up a stream and keep it running. Right?
Well, no, I think he's a bit better. He did a lot of video work for his time in Korea before he was nice and popular, so I imagine he is used to figuring things out. He might have gotten help. I have no idea. He started streaming such a long time ago. It's only recently they started streaming a lot with StarCraft Remastered.
Very true. Those are fun streams too. He's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's so salty. I love it.
That's the thing. It's the salt. All right. So Phoenix first here from the Creature with the Oracle follow-up. BioIce is going to feel like, all right, so nothing's coming for quite a while now. Is making 4 drones at a time. Will give them a nice lead. About 40 workers to 34. or rather 40 to 35 on the creature, getting speed, and might even possibly go for a 4th at this point here, but really no need for that quite yet.
Bias isn't pushing off his 4th base, and seems like he gets queens almost all at once. Like, starts off with an okay amount, 2 for the 3rd base, of course, but then like later on he adds 3 more. Bit of a weird style. Creature is going for Twilight Council Robo, but this time with the gases, so it is going to be the Archon drop. He got his Oracle scouted. Looks like BioIce was maybe reminded last game that he should at least try and scout, because even though he defended last game, it could have been a very different story if maybe a fake Oracle had been produced. So he sees it, he confirms it. Not going to get much other scouting besides that, though.
Nope, definitely not. Oracle doing a bit of a ring around the rosy play here with the drones. Let's pick a couple of them off. Phoenix helping with that one, but Queen Count starting to get a little bit scary. And 10 drones now on the way from BioIce. He is droning so hard. He's getting the +1 melee attack. And man, he's going to have a huge worker lead. The question is he going to over drone and not be prepared for the attack that's coming in? Or is it somehow just perfect, exactly what he needs, the economy, to handle the incoming attack from BioIce? But he's definitely going to be the one to throw that first punch.
Well, so far he's been very good about his timings against the Archon drop, and I don't think this will be too different. You see, he does get a little bit greedier though, like you're right, he is going up like way higher than we usually see. I've noted before in previous games, like he only sees around like 56 drones, no 4th base, to prioritize dealing with the Archon drop, to go up to 65, but with no 4th base, but that's sure to come. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question to ask. Is he going to be prepared for this? Even if it's only a decent amount of charge lots, 6 gateways, that's still pretty decent.
It is. So we do have Warp Prism here warping outside the base. I'm not sure exactly what it's set up to do here. But Zealots starting their way across the map. There we go. There's the warping of some High Templar. Single Archon, not the double Archon drop, but he's going to try to attack at the front with the Zealots and get the backside with the Archons instead. 12 Banelings, 20 Lings. Yeah, it's perfect. BioIce is going to be ready for this thing. I just don't see how this is much different from what we saw in the last game of the series. It's going to be up to Creature to try to find that damage, try to get the good connects, or make the Banelings not get the good connects. But oh my gosh, right on top of the creep here, running, splitting pretty well. Then never mind, coming back together. Just taking the Baneling splash.
Like a magnet. The nice thing about Terran splits is that, you know, our units stay there and shoot from afar. And so let's just go, oh, hey, Banelings.
Oh, yeah. That is... I hadn't even thought about that before. That's true. Zealots split them. And they're like, no, we must run to our deaths. Bad times. Yeah.
So far, not so good. But this is one of those games that he ended up winning, I believe, where he just was like, okay, that didn't work out so well, but I'll just keep making Archons, and your Baneling just won't be effective. At the very least, I'll trade well enough. But this is also the Queen, so he's gonna recall. How much is he gonna save here?
Oh, he did not lose any of those. I was so worried for a second.
Nice, nicely done. Good decision. The Orc Person didn't even lose that much health either, so still useful for the harassment. Now, BioIce, he might have gotten up to a decent amount of drones, or a very good amount actually, but that 4th base was still pushed off. That's something that if you know you're dealing with the harassment, okay, I feel like you should have already had it down and building, but you know, minute details really, and prioritizing the defense, probably better off. But here comes the Zealot harass as Creature built up his own army. Now, I decided not to go for Storm in that game that he won too, I believe. I would like to see it, but this game he's spending his gas quite well.
Yeah, not much of a bang for either of these players. On the gas side, Creature is floating about 200, but really not all that much in the grand scheme of things. It's going to be the Lingbane Hydra here. Hydra's getting pumped out 9, 8 at a time, getting grouped spines upgrade. Archon picked off. Nice force fields. Baneling's kind of squishing through there and going for it here. Is BioIce on top of the sentries. Hydras from distance trying to snipe off these. What are they even doing? Hydras? That was weird. I don't know why they walked around. I feel like they could have done a lot more work if they just stood where they were and attacked. But as it stands, Creature kind of wins that thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You know, the army was cleaned up, but he ultimately traded out with a much larger army. BioIce down and the resources lost. Now being harassed as well as Creature just reinforces with a lot more charge lots. Now the Archons are quite painful to lose. They take time to rebuild. And as such, I don't know if this attack's going to really work, but there's so much distraction going on, it's going to get the 4th hatchery.
Yep, 100% not saving that one. Although if you drag the Zealots away, Maybe it is going to work here. Wow. I thought for sure that hatchery was going to go down. Archon trying to run for its life. Pick me up, says the Archon. No, says the War Prism. Not going to happen. I need to save my own life here. And the hatchery ends up surviving. Holy smokes.
That's bad news. That's really bad news. Creature had pushed off +2. He pushed off Storm. Well, I guess his +2 wasn't that late. He always gets a bit later of a Forge, but he definitely pushed off Storm, and he definitely gave away a lot of expensive units with those Archons going down against what, you know, wasn't an easy task. But I always had to have a lot of Lings to do that, but it ended up working out. No, it was the Warp Prism. Oh, God.
I mean, I don't main Protoss, and that hurts. That was just, nah. You kind of throw down some transfuses on that hatch. 158 hit points is not very many.
Alternatively, it
over.
keeps baiting a bunch of Zealots in there, so...
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's working. Maybe intended purpose. Creep spread. There we go. Transfuse is thrown down. Much healthier. 789 hit points now. Oh, even more. Okay, that's cool. Trying to come in and throw down that Revelation. Or just Scout, I guess. I don't know. What are you trying to do here, Oracle? Scout's the 5th base at the very least. But yeah, it is looking real bad. Up 50 supply on his opponent is BioIce. Creature is getting the Storm, just about to wrap up here. But the question is there enough to handle the oncoming onslaught here? 4th base trying to get thrown down, but there is a big army just waiting for this to happen. Phoenix tries to run, cannot run. Probe immediately hightails it out of there. No 4th base for me, and BioIce is going to push. Looks like he is.
Storm's done. 4 storms, and it's a bit of a choke here, so okay, he's gonna get pushed back, but he is on to better things, bigger and better things. Broodlords are on the way, well timed once again with Aspire and Hive, and that's something that Creature can't really deal with unless he has a 4th base. He has to supplement his ground army, and then he can worry about taking on an air army, and that's gonna need a 4th after losing so many resources.
All right, so it's gonna go down here a little bit tentatively. He might have time to hang on to this thing. BioIce has split his army just a little bit. There's this big swath coming down the bottom section of the map, just a bunch of Lings, and then army kind of protecting what he has up north for BioIce too, I think. Yeah, just making some Corruptors, waiting for that Greater Spire to finish here, and I don't know what BioIce's answer, or rather Creature's answer, is going to be to those Broodlords.
I want to say it's going to die. I don't want to be that grim. Call it too soon.
The response is death.
Yeah, as there's a chance that, you know, first of all, there maybe won't be as many Broodlords as is like just totally undefeatable. Like, I feel like if you have 12 instantly, then that's just bad news, someone who's not prepared. But if it's 6, and supply is also an issue here, I mean, sometimes the damage on the ground combined with storms, you get the Archons underneath them, it can happen. It's just going to be really hard. So it would be impossible. But that's all about BioIce just giving away some of these units and filling it up with more Broodlords, and it's going to be a race against time as Creature is going to be attacked while trying to get the Tempests, and that's going to take such a long time because he hasn't started the Fleet Beacon. At least he has a Stargate.
That's true. I mean, he's not so far behind. He has to start over from scratch here. Oh, we got the Baneling. Baneling drops. Gonna happen at the same time. And here we go, Broodlords. Goodbye, Zealots. You're all gonna die. And if he uses the terrain well enough, he can use the Broodlord, throw down those Broodlings over to where he can't get hit on the Broodlords themselves. We'll see exactly where he decides to set up here. Creature is in full retreat from this location. Additional units coming on down here, this right side too. Zealots trying to see, is there stuff we can attack? Yeah, there are some Zerglings here. So Zergling versus Zealot, not on a move for a second, and the upgrades are just so good on these Lings. That +2 attack helping immensely. Adrenal Glands just now completing. Amazing, massive help there too, and they do clean out the Zealots. Basically a 1-for-1 trade there. Baneling drops inside the main base. 8, 10, 11 probes going down, and these guys actually running and getting the heck out of there before the Banelings decide they're not far enough though. Oh, and stuck in a corner. 20 of them end up going down, and here come the Broodlords. The final stand begins for Creature.
And all that stuff I was saying about the ground army maybe pushing past the Broodlings, it's not happening. He targets the High Templars, I think, a little bit too, so he has to worry about his ground army. And Creature knows he has no shot. BioIce takes the series 3-1.
3-2-1. BioIce looking strong.
Yeah, good, impressive play there. They both played some pretty solid games, but BioIce just really well done against the Archon drop. Good use of his Ling Baneling Hydra, and takes the victory in the end. So he takes the bigger cash prize here since the top 2 payouts.
He does.
And that'll be it for the Destruction Gaming Invitational.
Invitational number 1. Got a number 2 coming up as well that has been announced by the organizers. So watch for that. Watch the Team Liquid for more information on that one. Again, more Terran representation for those of you who wanted to see some T in this tournament. I think we were with you on that.
Yeah, for sure. So that does it for the cast. I'm going to be streaming still on this channel after I reboot and take off the delay. But before we go, I want to give you your time to shout yourself out, your Twitch, your YouTube, whatever you want.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'm Falcon Paladin. You can find me on YouTube, mostly youtube.com/Falcon Paladin, also on Twitch with the same username, Twitter and Facebook as well. So mostly StarCraft. I do some remastered stuff twice a week out on the YouTube channels as well. That's been very popular. Gotten some good response on that, to be sure. So if you want to see any of the StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1 remastered type stuff, just search Falcon Paladin on your Googles, on the YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter. I'm pretty much everywhere that you would want me to be. And I post new content every single day of the week. So watch for that.
Very cool. Well, thank you for casting with me. It was a lot of fun. It was very easy to cast with, so that's midlife a lot easier. And hopefully I'll see you again for the second invitational. Yeah,
I think so. It was a lot of fun casting with you for the first time too. Really learned a lot from your casting. I need to buff up my understanding of the game. You kind of showed me where I'm deficient, so I appreciate that. And best of luck with the rest of your 12-hour stream. I hope it goes well. Maybe I'll stick around and watch a little bit of it too.
All right, thanks so much, man. I'll see you later.
Yeah, take care. Thanks.
All right, guys, let's go to this auto game overlay and the meeting here. Seems we no longer have a cat cam, but as I said, I'm going to restart the stream with no delay. So it should just go up instantly, actually, so there shouldn't be such an awkward pause as there was before. But I'll be right back to explain what else I'm going to do tonight.